Back at it again. What's going on, everybody? Okay, so, fuck. Today, I want to talk about stories. This is something that I've been learning throughout my entire last 2 years here. Uh, Stories are everything. Stories are fucking everything, right? Like people don't really care about what you're saying. They just care about how they feel about what you're saying. They just care about how they feel about what you're saying, right? So most things are best communicated in stories. Um, if you try to tell somebody something, uh, it's really hard for somebody to really take that and understand it. That's why metaphors work so well, right? Because you can parallel the lesson with a story. And in a story, you can clearly see what happened because you can see, you know, this was the action, this was the cause, this was the effect, right? Um, that's how things mostly go down. I realize that most of my videos are not just stories; they're kind of just, they are just the advice. But I mean, hey, I can't really, I don't know. I wouldn't just come up with a random story to tell you guys. Maybe I'll start thinking of stories to tell you before I pop on here. But most of the time I'm just making these right before I go to work. So I don't, uh, yeah, that's something to think about. But stories really are everything, right? Uh, Stories parallel our lifetime. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about this, the hero's journey, or the hero or heroine's journey, right? But it's all about how we typically see things go down in our lives. This is the typical cycle of life, really. It goes down to some sort of psychological thing we got, right? Where we start seeing, it's just the way we function, right? We go on, we start our journey, we pass through into a great unknown world, right? Which is like the next undertaking. It's whatever, we can call it an undertaking in mythological stories, right? It was the underworld that you go to, but this is the undertaking, right? And you pass through those gates because of some cause, some call to action, right? And then you go on and you meet mentors, you meet friends, you meet people that are gonna help you along the way, and then you fight some great trial, right? And sometimes you win, sometimes you fail, and you go to a really dark spot, maybe, and then sometimes you come out of it. Things are. It also explains why a lot of the times, you can't operate off of fear because most of the times the things that you want are gonna be right next to the things that you fear, right? It's the old parable of the dragon and the treasure, right? The treasure underneath the belly of the dragon, and somebody has to go and kill that dragon, right? I don't really know if I agree with that as a veggie boy, but no. But yeah, that's the whole point, right? That's what we've been talking about all these millennia, right? All the whole time that humans have been around, honestly. We tell stories about lessons that we've learned, the lessons that we see, the tales that we've come to model our lives around because they parallel our lives, and we see a lot of truth to them, right? So you come out of that cave, right? Hopefully victorious, hopefully with the thing, right? The sauce, whatever, you got it. And then you go and you find I think that you have to get help on the way out, right? You have to actually use it somehow, right? They also call that the rebirth, right? After you come out of that cave, right? That's like the death and rebirth, and as you become anew, right? Like a phoenix, you become anew with new lessons, and then you come back to it. You come back to regular life, then things become status quo, and then a new trial arises, right? And you go back to it, right? You pass into the next undertaking, and you go on. This is honestly an important study. I think that a lot of it makes sense. A lot of it is how you can preemptively see whenever things are going weird in your life, right? Whenever you step out of the norm, whenever you're in the next undertaking. Try to identify where you are in the hero's journey, right? Because your psychology is dictating that, right? How are you feeling about that? Are you going to make it out? That's a real question. I think that that's a question that many people are going to come to on their way to success, on their way to whatever they're doing in life, right? Um, Something to think about, right? I think it's also a good intro because I think next time I'm going to talk about maybe some of the books that I've been reading so you guys can get some of that knowledge. But that's all I got for today. Thank you guys.